Ever get that feeling like you're just spinning your wheels?
Mm.
Working hard, going after things, but
Hmm.
still feeling like something's missing.
Totally.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into a book that really digs into that, Ecclesiastes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, one of those ancient TED Talks about
Hmm.
like the meaning of life all crammed into this short kind of poetic book.
That's a great way to put it.
We've only got about 10 minutes to unpack like centuries of wisdom, so uh, let's see what we can find.
I love it. What I find so fascinating about Ecclesiastes is how straight up it is. No sugarcoating. It's written from this guy's perspective, the preacher, they call him.
Right.
And he's supposedly experienced it all: success, pleasure,
On the
knowledge.
9 yards.
Exactly. Yet he still felt this, like, emptiness.
So it's kind of like he's saying, been there, done that, got the T-shirt,
Yeah,
and it's not all it's cracked up to be.
exactly.
So where does he end up with all this, like this whole vanity of vanities thing?
Right, right. He keeps saying that. Vanity of vanities. Everything is meaningless.
Yeah, it's a little grim.
It does sound that way, right? But I don't think he's trying to be a downer, more like a realist, you know?
But
He's seen that chasing after things that don't last, like wealth or working yourself to death or just chasing pleasure, it just doesn't satisfy in the long run.
It's like trying to catch the wind, right?
Exactly. It's like trying to grasp smoke. But that leads to a much bigger question.
Which is
What does bring lasting satisfaction then? What does have real meaning?
okay. So let's say I ditched the rat race and like embrace minimalism and all that,
Okay.
but I'm still getting older. Everyone I know is still getting older. Things are still changing.
Hmm.
Is he saying that even wisdom can't solve this?
That's a great question. And honestly, even with wisdom, you can't escape the fact that life has limits.
Right.
But I don't think he's saying we should just give up on everything. It's more about shifting our focus. He finds real joy, not in like the big accomplishments, but more in the simple, everyday things. Like
Right.
what? Enjoying a good meal, doing work that has meaning to you, connecting with people you care about, appreciating the moment you're in, that kind of thing.
So it's less about what you achieve and more about how you actually experience life.
Exactly.
Isn't that what like the whole mindfulness movement is all about these days?
Totally.
Kind of interesting how these old ideas keep coming back around.
It is, isn't it? The preacher was definitely onto something. He's basically challenging us to find contentment, not in what we own or achieve, but in how we actually live each day.
He doesn't just stop there, though, right?
Right.
There's that whole part at the end about fearing God and keeping his commandments.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Well, for the preacher, I think acknowledging something bigger than himself, some higher power,
Okay.
gave him a framework for living, a way to make sense of things. It's about recognizing there's something beyond just our individual ups and downs.
So if we kind of boil down all this ancient poetry and wisdom,
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes is basically saying that life is uncertain, things are temporary, but we can find joy and meaning in the everyday stuff
Hmm.
if we just approach it with the right attitude.
Exactly. It's about perspective.
And that's a really powerful message,
Okay.
even after all these years.
Absolutely.
It really makes you think, though, like, if the preacher were alive today,
Hmm.
what would he say about our obsession with, social media
Oh, wow.
or constantly chasing after the next big thing? Would he just shake his head and be like, vanity, vanity, all is vanity?
He might. But I also think he'd tell us to look for the simple joys that are right in front of us,
Yeah.
like savoring a good cup of coffee,
Yeah.
feeling the warmth of the sun,
Yeah.
having a genuine connection with a friend, those little things.
That's a great takeaway. If everything is fleeting, what's really important in this moment, what little things will you appreciate today?
That's the question, isn't it?
It really is something to think about. And that wraps up our deep dive into Ecclesiastes. Definitely a lot more to chew on than you expect from a book with such a kind of serious reputation.
You said it.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya!
Bye.
Bye.